a lot of little components today. And I counted. And all through the house.
Not a creature was stirring, not even a mouse. Maggie, I don't even see.
Maggie's here today. Yippee!
Woohoo!
Maggie's here. All right, I think I got my act together a little bit.
And this.
Okay, look at this. This is what Maggie and Penny made the other day together, these houses, and that's that new village. I'm calling it the Village Community, but it is the Village Collection, and I don't see one back here. Oh, here's one. So it's the Tim Holtz, the new Village Collection, and it's normally $84.99, and as part of our Thanksgiving week sale, it's only $59.99, and Maggie's going to tell us a little bit about that and a lot of other stuff. So hang tight, everybody. We are going to show a couple new things, and then we're going to come back to Maggie. So Maggie will be right back.
Okay.
Dawn's got a few new things.
Yes, happy Thanksgiving Eve, everybody.
Yes, it's
Can't
the
wait.
night before Thanksgiving.
Can't wait for Turkey Day.
I know. I think as we're videotaping today, it would be interesting for people to write in their traditional Thanksgiving dishes, and whether it might be something unusual or, you know, turkey's kind of a normal. Turkey, mashed potatoes, gravy. So maybe anything other than turkey, mashed potatoes, and gravy.
And corn casserole.
And
that's
corn
a, that's
casserole
a given.
or green bean casserole. But
yeah.
for me, Dawn, it would be sauerkraut. I don't know why, but we always have sauerkraut
You
at
do?
Thanksgiving. Yes, and my mom makes it, and she puts the turkey drippings in it a little bit, so it's really great.
You guys heard of the big new trend of splat-cotching your turkey?
Maggie's talking about
Splat-cotching
splat-cotching
your turkey?
So we got to come over here.
Splat-cotching or splat something, where you take your turkey, and you split it and you flatten it down when you roasting it or grilling it, and it looks like he's doing a spread eagle face down. And it's supposed to cook your turkey faster and more evenly.
Oh, very interesting.
It's got a funny name, splat.
We're going to have to call Butterball, the Butterball hotline, and ask about that
Well,
one.
this one is not doing splatchcotching or whatever
It's
it
a
is.
big thing on the internet right now.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Well,
I thought you might want to
So
hear that.
Maggie, before we go on, we have a question that I think
Yes.
you can answer better than me. We're getting lots of good food ideas, so that's a squirrel moment. But Dawn is asking, how is the new Village Collection different from the one that came out last year?
They're bigger.
So, and there's more.
They're bigger,
pieces.
and you get like 87 pieces, and so there's so much more variety. This was last year's.
yeah, here, let's show them side by side.
Dawn's gonna.
I'll move this
it's all
tree,
wet.
and you can just set
Here's
it right
one
beside
from
it.
last year. This one is Paper Village number 2, and we do have this one for sale. It's $19.99, and Dawn is showing us the scale. Now this is a real scale. This is
a real deal.
This isn't like a ruler or a scale. So you can see how much bigger the new ones are than the previous ones. So you could mix them all together.
You
couldn't
could,
Maggie?
and use kind of like they call it forced perspective by putting the bigger ones towards your front. But then also, there's so many more parts to the new.
It has cooler roof lines.
The roof lines, it's got windows, and what I liked about it, my favorite part
you better
probably,
keep that for
is
yourself.
the window frames.
Oh, the window frames.
You actually put in window frames in the windows.
There are the little window frames, and Maggie has lit this one up.
Yes.
And that roof line is different than
Isn't
the
that
others.
cool?
It's kind of a double, go in both directions.
yeah, that's really
Yeah.
fun.
So
It sounds like Lisa Dudley has heard of your
spatchcock.
Yeah.
Spatchcock the turkey or something like that.
Somebody was doing it.
Sounds
yesterday,
like
and
Schletty balls.
They had a picture, and this turkey, he just spread out face down.
Poor guy.
Yeah.
He needed to have that cow costume on, or he'd be going moo. Okay, we're getting lots of good food.
I can't wait. I'm going to go back and review so I can. But Kelly, we need to talk more about the, what you call it, sauerkraut, because I want to know about that. I like sauerkraut.
Several people have mentioned sauerkraut.
Oh my gosh.
Several have. I don't know. That's just something as a kid we always
Is
had.
that your German heritage? No,
I
that
don't-
was Swedish. I don't know how to talk German.
Okay. All right, we better move on.
Okay.
We're going downhill.
All
fast.
right. Well, yeah, that doesn't take much. Okay. We got new signs. They're on sale. They've been added new to the specials, and they are $3.
$3.99.
$3.99, normally $6.99.
And $16.99 value. So they're good.
Yeah. Oh,
nice
my.
little decoration, a little neighbor gift. Tie it up with a ribbon or add some ribbon. You could add like a line of ribbon or a bow or something right there too.
Great value, $3.99, and there's only a few left, so don't delay on that. Love, love, love this. I should go
let's
get
go.
it. Yeah,
I can walk over there.
Here. Katie's Countdown.
It's almost time to start counting down for Christmas.
Can
I
you
don't want to
believe that?
make us pass up Thanksgiving by any means, but Thanksgiving is running a little on the kind of average to later side today, and next week is December 1st.
Yes. But the Katie's kit includes the 24 fun paper bags. All of these that you see here are in here. There's red cardstock, black cardstock, white cardstock, green cardstock, and then 2 sheets of cut-apart holiday activities that
So
you
you
can
don't even
put-
have to think up what to do each day for your countdown.
And I think we talked about just putting your elf on the shelf out with the bag each day, and then there's a different game or event each day that you can put in there. Color a Christmas page.
Do a puzzle, have ice cream sundaes. There we go.
Yeah, that's
what
my
I'll do
kind of
that.
day. Write your letter to Santa, decorate a gingerbread house. So all the work's done for you. So good job, Katie.
And
Love
you could
these.
add a little treat in there or gift cards. You can put whatever you want. And
The kits are $19.99.
thank you, Katie, for doing that. That is, we have one other countdown on the front table we'll show, but this is like our most original countdown. If you want to make it Grinch, Katie's thought of that too. She's a huge Grinch fan. And if you want to make it a Grinch countdown, she's got these images that you can fussy cut and add to your countdown bags. And she also has a separate Grinch activity sheet. Same activities, it just has some Grinch pictures on it. So thank you, Katie. I think that turned out really cute.
Okay, we've added embossing folders to the specials category. These are $3. This one is Joy, and then it's a snowflake. So if you've been wanting a snowflake embossing folder, this is a good one. And you can run it through your embossing folder and then rub like the luster wax on top or any of the icing products, and then it will just glow. I love those. Enjoy. My favorite. It'll glow. It'll glow, glow, glow. Okay, we've added some more dies to our specials, and these dies are 25% off. We've got the trees. We've got the ugly Christmas sweater, and we've got the Tim Holtz Matchbox die. That one has been really popular, 25% off. So if you've been wanting that,
Got the numbers and the circle dies and the little border circles.
but it makes the little boxes, so they're really fun. And I know last year the Matchboxes were really cool because you could put nuggets, chocolate nuggets in them.
We've got samples of those too hanging up on the rack over there.
Well, there you go. Okay, we should have brought over a sample. The crystal paste is back in stock, and also the crystal glaze. The crystal paste looks like, let me see if I can open it up. You can't really see, but the crystal paste dries like kind of a whitish clear, really textured with a lot of grit in it.
And glitter.
Grit and glitter, yes. There you
And
can
the glaze
kinda see
is
that.
just more of a clear,
In the-
kind of a gel.
Exactly. Okay. And then also back in stock, came in yesterday, are the snow globes from Tim Holtz, his new ones that we put the dismembered deer in, and these are $6.99. Okay, and continuing with Christmas, look at this. Christmas Kisses and Candy Cane Wishes. This is brand new, just came in. $7.99, and you'll find this under Impression Obsession stamps, or go to stamps and then go to Impression Obsession, and you'll find these.
That's really cute. That's another Lindsay Ostrom design. You can tell her neat little handwriting and doodles.
And then you could just really barely, briefly color the candy canes red, and that would be a really simple, fun card to make. Okay, woohoo! Oh, wait. Before we leave,
you almost need a drum roll for that.
Yeah,
one.
exactly. The Tim Holtz layering moon mask is back.
We've waited for that since it came out.
Well, we got them in, and they were gone really quickly.
They sold out immediately.
Yes, so back in stock. So get yours if you've been waiting for yours. Hopefully, you've been called. I think they got everybody called last night.
There's been lots of neat samples online with those, and Santa Claus, because you know he's kind of in his sleigh, how he's flying through the night. And there's the moon.
Okay, the Doodlebug Great Outdoors is back in stock. So we have the cardstock pack that goes with that, the sprinkles, the Chit Chat for the Great Outdoors back in stock. That's such a fun. I just love these little Chit Chats. And then the 6x6 paper pad. Look at that moose. He's adorable. Okay. And these I think are super fun. But we've seen some other manufacturers coming out with these, and these are the Studio Light Slimline paper pads with, look at all these.
They're two-sided.
And they're like, what do you call that?
It's a gradient, but it's not. That's not the word.
Yeah.
Ombre,
that's the word. Look at those. So make really fun, fast, and easy
nice
slimline cards. All the papers cut for you. Lots of colors, and these are $9.99, and we have them in the white faded, 36.
36 pages.
Yep, and they are double-sided. And then we have the pastel gradients.
And I think they're nice for die cutting also.
Oh, that's a great idea.
They're smaller. You don't have to deal with big
sheets
papers and
cutting.
sheets.
Okay, this one is the fall floral colors. And these are solid front and back. And the back is a different shade than the front. Pretty, pretty, pretty. And then the pastels. So way to go, Studio Light. I love these. I think these would be great for card makers. If you're just, you only do A2 cards, you could still do this on your card front and then use this piece to die cut your words and stuff out of. So I think they're just a real fun.
They're great.
Real fun. And where would they find those? Probably under paper pads, other sizes?
Yeah.
Okay.
So Dawn, we need to go up and see the new Doodlebug.
Oh
and
my
Christy
gosh,
Christy has
yes.
a question about Doodlebug, asking about the Doodle Pop stockings. And we did order those, but they didn't come in with our order. So we are getting those.
I saw that she showed them, but I was wondering why we didn't get ours.
That's their temporary. It's the last one.
Okay, this is the brand new Doodlebug Let It Snow line. And do you want to start? I'll let you start on the embellishments.
Here, because here's those really cute Doodle Pops. Speaking of the Doodle Pop stocking, and it's got that really cute bear in it. And look, he's got a squirrel on his head, and we're all laughing
My favorite,
at the goat. The goat is hilarious.
Oh my gosh,
and then
so
we have
cute.
Santa. And then we have Santa in his truck hauling Christmas trees. And then we have some little Braddies. And some of these are from previous collections, but they match perfectly.
Look at those snowmen. Oh my gosh, Frosty Friends.
So there's two different ones.
Mm-hmm.
Snow Much Fun. Let me back up a little bit. And Frosty Friends. And then we have the hearts and some really pretty snowflakes. And then this is cute. Those Santas are a little different. They're not all the same. And we've got the washi tape. And we've got more Doodle Pops. And we've got the sticker here, the 6x12 sticker. And there are some very unusual characters. There's Santa and his reindeer friend in a, what do you call those things, Dawn? A lift.
A gondola.
A gondola. And we have a seal, believe it or not, and a whale.
And a whale. The whale's funny.
They're really cool.
Whales are the next.
Are they the next big thing?
Yeah, they are.
And then there's the mini icon stickers. And with these, you have to remember you get 2 sheets. So or 3 sheets. I'm sorry, you're going to get 3 sheets of stickers. And this is all online under New and Doodlebug Let It Snow. Yeah, do you want to grab the odds and ends and the chit chat?
Okay, the odds and ends.
They're so cool, so cool.
And yeah, gosh, how many pieces? 133 pieces for $8.99. And then we have the chit chat, just so cute. 78 pieces for $7.99.
If you were doing like a Christmas journal, I think those are so nice to add the words, all the little die cuts.
And then we have the bits and pieces for Let It Snow. And look at, there is even die cut tabs. 42 pieces for $7.99, some big tags.
Those are good for layering. You could stick a die cut on those and do some layering. Katie's really good at layering those.
And then we got in the cards and envelopes that are coordinated to match the whole line. So if you wanted quick and easy cards, it's got 6 cards and 6 envelopes for $6.99. And they have like the scallop, I guess there's scalloped edges on the tags. So just different ones to coordinate with that line for quick and easy.
You want to grab, I think we've got the stamps.
That one?
That's,
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me get down here, Kelly.
Dawn's down low, so I'm going to come up here so we don't have to look at her bending over.
Oh,
We'll
okay.
get a good another look at these.
All right. Here's the 12 by 12 paper pack, the collection pack. And the sticker sheet, $17.99.
That's kind of a different blue. It's really soft. I like it.
Decorating our
Very
tree.
snowy.
So happy together. Look at that. That really is cute. Okay. Oh, and look at the tabs. Memories, fun, and family. It's already done for you. Like that. Okay, the Let It Snow Petite Print Assortment.
And they've matched their petite prints to this collection, so you don't have to.
And look at the textured cardstock. I think that is just beautiful, just like that. $12.99 for that. And then we have the 6x6 paper pad.
And Dawn, do you want to grab the stamp? There's 2 stamps and a die set.
Okay, we have the Winter Wonderland. Look at it's got the snow globe. So this would be fun. You could make your own scene, all different kinds of scene in there.
You could put a photo in there too. I think that would be kind of
that would
neat.
be really fun. And there's the die. And then it looks like the same die works for this stamp set. This one's Night Before Christmas. Look at the reindeer, the little boy, the little girl. So this would work
That's a
for...
cute Santa too.
Oh, he is. Chubby Santa.
Our friend Peggy from Texas says Happy Thanksgiving. And Peggy,
Hi,
happy
Peggy.
Thanksgiving to you down in Texas. And
Hey, Penny just walked in. Your side
Penny says good morning. All right, we're going to look at the papers now.
All right,
This
I
would be awesome.
pulled all the papers. All right, this one is, let's see, Snow Happy. It's got some awfully cute snowmen on the front of it. And, whoops, sorry.
They're hard to handle.
Okay, stripe on the back.
Katie loved the stripe.
And then we got the cut aparts.
That's a little different, isn't it? I like that.
And then look at the little verbiage, and then some verbiage for your slim line, some verbiage for your A2. I think they did a good job on this. And then it's got a red on red snowflake on the back. And then we got the border strips. Ho, ho, ho. And look at, what's he called? The snow monster?
Abominable snowman? Or?
Yeah, I'm not sure what. And there's your whales and walruses and penguins, fish. It's just funny, all the
We're
little...
laughing at the fish. But you know what? If you had a lot of fish in your area in Wales,
Lived
that
by
would
the
be
water?
perfect.
It would be.
Here in Iowa, we don't have those, but we do have Santa Claus and reindeer, though.
And these cut-aparts are cute, too. The shopping list, and Santa Claus is coming to town, so you can put the kids' list on there. And there's our goat. He's just so cute. I don't know what it is about the goat. And there's,
That's a good paper.
little Santa
oh, gosh,
faces.
A lady was in 2 days ago and wanted Santa paper.
Well, there we go, because that's a cute one. All
Oh,
right.
Billy thinks he's a Yeti.
Oh, that's what it is. Yes,
it's a Yeti.
Yeti.
Okay, thank you, Billy.
A good plaid. And then pink on pink snowflakes. And then we got tags. Everybody's got tags. And look at these. Aren't those just adorable?
You could make a banner with those and it would be so cute. And you know what else, everybody? We have made card fronts with those. And you can leave the tag or you can cut off the top and you have a card front. So either way.
Good idea. Got some really cool trees and stripe.
There's a lot of papers in
Some
this collection.
multicolor snowflakes and dots. Look at those two together. And I always love peppermint stripe paper because you can do so much with that.
It goes with everything too.
And if you're doing the a cake in a cup kits that we have, these would be great for that. It just goes really nicely with the paper or with the color of the cupcake packaging.
I knew you
Does
would
that
get
make
there
sense?
eventually, Dawn.
And we got the mountains, and look at the little goat at the top of the mountains, and our polar bears, and another little scene.
It even has a fox, and
This one, I should have been telling you what they're called. This one's called North Pole.
you'll find all this online if you go to shopping and go to new, and it's probably still at the bottom. It hasn't been resorted. It'd be the Doodlebug Let It Snow.
This is Holiday Dots. Oh, it's a
Oh,
countdown.
Another countdown opportunity.
You could put those on little white bags and make your own countdown. And then we have Frosty Floral.
That might be my
Cute.
favorite right there.
Really?
I think
like
so.
it. It's pretty.
Dawn, we have a couple questions.
Hey, did you show the washi tape?
I did.
Because I like that peppermint.
The questions we have, let me go back. The small Santas called adhesive sprinkles. They can't find them online.
The small Santas. Oh, these.
They're
Okay.
the shape sprinkles.
We will go. Hey,
We should
Are
show
these-
that. That's these
Oh,
are Christmas tags.
yeah, these are neat.
Yeah, they look really cute too.
Oh, look at they're already all cut for. All you have to do is punch them out. $3.99, and you get 19 reversible tags.
Oh,
these
reversible is cool.
These are called Christmas tags. That's a good deal.
All
okay,
right, so the Santas,
I'll go check on the Santas.
Dawn's going to check on the Santas. It's called Here Comes Santa Claus. And we had one other question. Squirrel Moment, would you tell them where they can locate the cell phone holders online? Oh, those are not online.
And they are out of stock.
They're out of stock
We've
right
got-
now. We're sorry.
We've got to order more of those.
We'll have to get more of those coming. Try to get them before the holidays so we
Yes.
can get them to everybody.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, and they think the paper would be good for Katie's flip book. Absolutely.
Oh.
Christine loves the
good.
frosty floral also. Okay, well, I think we're ready for
Yep,
Maggie then.
I'll go get her mic'd up.
Val's here today. Yay, Val! Val's a teacher and she's got the day off, so she's working here today. We love that.
All right. I'll go check on these.
All right, Dawn's going to check on the Santas. And Dawn, do you want to check on those Doodle Pop stockings or?
Oh, sure.
All right, and we got Maggie. Yay!
Hello, hello.
It's always a great day when you're here, Maggie. There's always going to be learning.
Lots of stuff, right? Well, today I'm titling this a little bit about a lot of things because I'm just going to touch base on, I'm not going to have a full-blown tutorial from start to finish. It's just going to be little bits and pieces of different projects.
Oh,
Okay?
we love that. I think that's great.
All right, so
and you brought in a lot of projects to show us.
yeah,
It's kind of like a Tim Holtz Wonderland.
it is. And I pushed more lights up in there so we're a little more lit up.
Okay. were lit.
And we'll talk about that too, because
Okay.
I've got there's little rooms for improvement on those.
Well,
so.
and you know how you've got this display? These trees are actually for sale. You can actually buy these trees. So if you wanted to set up a little vignette like Maggie's.
I'm starting to become, as I decorate now, I like vignettes.
Yeah,
I like
think
little
that's
vignettes.
really neat. You did a nice job.
I learned that from Tim Holtz. He does a lot of little vignettes. He stuffs greenery in a corner and puts little
Puts
things.
cool stuff with it.
Yeah. So today I'm going to start out with my hoop kits.
Her hoop kits. I love that.
And so this one is no longer available, but I wanted to show a couple techniques on this one. Because this goes out to Mary
Okay.
in Missouri, because I promised her that I would show her a few things about this kit. So
Well,
if
and
you
you
have
can
that
still
kit,
get the paper, and you can still get Mr.
Yes.
Frost, and you can always get a hoop.
yes.
So you could make something like this if you wanted to. We have that paper
Exactly.
back in stock, but once it's gone, from
and
what I
then
hear.
this one I'm going to show a little bit how I did the hoop, and then I'm going to re-demo the fluffy bow. And I have
Okay.
that straight?
I can turn the phone. Here we
And
go.
so I'm going to demo that fluffy bow. And we do have a few kits of this left, the bear. And I have to let you in on a little secret. The bear had so many little tiny pieces. It's not a colorize. So when you get the kit, or if you've already gotten the kit, I have already glued the snout and the eyes for you.
That was nice.
So I was afraid that we were going to lose all the pieces. So it was easier
You
that
always
way.
go the extra mile, Maggie. You really do.
And then this one, we have some kits left, and this one is probably the easiest one. And I thought, as it gets closer to Christmas, you sometimes want something quick and easy, but still fun to do with your friends or family. And so this one, I'm going to just tell you a little bit about how I did the bird. And again, that has a fluffy bow.
And Maggie, everybody loves cardinals. I mean, that's just a really nice.
And any of
beautiful
these nestled
project.
in a little vignette is just so pretty. I just like it. So the first thing I'm going to start out with is we're going to go here, and I'm going to show you how I just made the hoop, got the hoop ready. And as you know, this is just a wooden embroidery hoop. And so I painted it white. And you want to make sure that this is screwed as tight as you can get it before you paint it. And then I just painted it white, and as you can see, it's a little bit bumpy. I didn't worry about that. I think the reason is this one I had started a different project, so I had inked the actual hoop, and then I went a different direction. So I painted over this, and I think my paint was a little gunky, so it's okay because
and we
it'll
do
be
have
covered.
hoops for sale if you go to miscellaneous products online. We do have some hoops.
I'm not sure we have the 8-inch hoops,
I think
but
it's
we
the
do have
6-inch.
6-inch hoops. So this is an 8-inch hoop. So the first thing I did with this is I painted it white, and then once it got completely dry, I just sanded around the edges just to give it a little bit more of a distressed look. And you can use this, one of these sponge things. I think mine's kind of breathing its last life. And then also, like I said, this kind of bumpy paint stuff will come off too if you do that. But see how I'm just doing it enough to just distress the edges a little bit. And you can distress the outer edges too. And I'm not going to do the whole thing, but just to give you an idea, see how
Let me get up close.
that
Just takes the paint off the
just
edge.
a little bit, yeah. And okay, so after you've sanded around the edges,
We're going to have a messy day today, aren't we, Maggie? I can
Yeah.
tell right now.
sawdust everywhere. Okay, so after you've done that, then on the snowman one, I think this one's called Wishing You, I did go around and ink it just a little bit with a little brown. This one is just gathered twigs.
So Maggie's using gathered twigs.
But very, very lightly. In fact, don't even put this much pressure on. But see, just on the edges. And hardly any. I didn't even do the whole thing. But I even probably would say that's a tad bit more than brown than you want. And so with this one then, all I did was take a little bit of glue any liquid glue that dries clear. And I'm just going to do this part right here. And just kind of rubbed it in. And then,
what are you going to put on next?
do you remember Diane's mixture? The diamond dust and you know what? I forgot to bring
It's clear
those two
rock
over.
candy and diamond dust
Yes.
mixed together. And you can make it half and half or whatever you want.
Yeah, and to tell you the truth, some people have said, well, what if I can't get one of them? Or what if I only want to buy one? And if I were going to do snow scenes and I could only get one, I would get the diamond dust because it's chunkier and it looks probably to me a little bit more like snow. The other one, the clear rock candy, is a little more vintage and a lot more subtle.
Very fine.
But that's the beautiful thing about mixing them is you get the best of both worlds on that. But if you don't, diamond dust would work too. So then you're just going to sprinkle that on there.
And you did that on the whole hoop.
All the way, yes. And if, to tell you the truth, I think I probably did it on the outside too. But then just tap it off and let it dry.
Maggie, Elena's asking if you painted each hoop, if you painted the hoops together or painted them separately.
I screwed them together really, really tight and just painted it as one.
Okay, that's. And then Beth suggested, she said she painted both ways, and one time she painted the inside blue and the outside white.
Oh, that would be
that
pretty.
would be cool. I would love to see that. Beth, if you get a chance, post a picture in the comments. We'd all would love to
Yes.
see that.
Okay, so that is the one with the snowman.
So that's
how I
one
did
way
that
to
one.
do your hoop.
Another way to do your hoop is to paint it white, and then we're going to use texture paste crackle. Now I'm going to show you two different texture pastes. We've got distress texture paste matte, and we've got texture paste opaque crackle. Both of them are white, both are opaque. This one, once it dries, it'll start to form small cracks. So it just depends on the look you want. I usually use this one for snow, and I did use it down here for the snow.
So down here is where Maggie used it.
And then I usually use the crackle if I want to.
Get up close and I can show what it does.
That's what we're going to show. So on that one, I did use crackle. So I just
There's
took
the crackle.
a palette knife, and I'm just going to show a little bit.
This is going to be like a sampler hoop, isn't it?
It is. It's going to be a sampler. Okay, so over here then, I'm going to take this crackle texture paste, and you can put it on gloopy. If you put it on thick, you're going to get bigger cracks, or you can put it on thin, which is what I did. And so you don't scrape it off, because if you scrape it off, you're not going to get any cracks. But don't worry about it being smooth. And if you don't like that hanging over the sides, just do that. And that's about how thick I would put it on there. And then we're going to let that dry. But that's how I would have put that all the way around for the bear one.
So what she just showed was this one. So instead of putting glitter, she used the crackle paste. And then when it dries, she's going to have these cool cracks. And I'm pretty sure Maggie's going to show us that.
So we're going to let that dry, and I wanted to get that done so
And
maybe.
that has to air dry, Maggie? You don't
Yes.
want to heat, so you don't use a heat tool on the crackle.
Do not speed that up. You're going to have to be patient for. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to show you, I'm just going to touch base on the snowman.
Okay.
This
That's Mr. Frost.
Mr. Frost, and we have him right there.
Oh, there he is. He's a Tim Holtz die, and he's new this year, and he's called Mr. Frost. And he is a colorized die. He's $14.99. I'm surprised it's only $14.99.
Yeah, and you know,
Well, no, it's not a colorized.
we were looking at that, and some people call this colorized, but it's really probably not.
Yeah, I don't think it's
But
really a
it
colorized.
works like some of his new colorized, which I'm going to show you.
Okay, so that's Mr. Frost. And Maggie, we have a question. Well, Jerry
Yes.
says she loves this kit. She got it. Very easy. Great project. And she says thank you for sharing your talents.
Oh, that's nice. So she has this kit?
I I think so, yeah.
Okay.
And then Kimberly says she had to get the Seth Apter Eyes Ink Crackle Paste because the Ranger was out of stock. Do you think it will be okay to use the...
I would think so. Yeah, and you know, it might give you a new look, which you'll like better, but I have a funny feeling it's probably the same.
I think it's
and we
the same.
did get some in, right? We have the texture paste crackle. Okay, so what is cool about this
here's
Mr.
Mr.
Frost die is you get, now I didn't use this hat because I wanted him to be kind of natural out in the woods. So, although he did have a scarf, so.
Well, he could have found that somewhere out in the woods, Maggie.
So what you do is the snowman is made of 3 parts. You get the one that cuts your base, then you have 2 that look exactly alike. This one has holes in it. This one does not. So you cut your black from the one that doesn't have holes, and then you cut this one with the holes out of white again. So everybody has their own idea of what kind of paper they like to work with. My paper of choice is watercolor paper, especially when I'm doing this kind of inking. I've tried other things. I just like watercolor paper, and Tim has it in sheets of 8.5 by 11, and he also has it in the smaller sheets also.
So you can get 20 sheets that are like an A2 size, and they're $5.99, or you can get 10 sheets of 8.5 by 11, and I think it's the same. Oh, $7.99. $7.99 because you get a little bit more.
Relatively inexpensive to work with. I mean, you can get a lot of snowman out of
and it's
that.
thicker, so I think it probably makes your snowman seem a little bit more dimensional.
Yeah, and I don't know, it soaks up the ink so much better. I've tried other papers, and I keep coming back to this. I do like to cut it out from the smooth side. If you like the texture side, it just gives you a little different. But for my inking purposes, I find myself using the smooth side. Then we're going to use the scarf. Where he got the scarf out in the woods, I don't know. But maybe
it looks good.
Whoever built him probably had a scarf like that. And then you get these tiny little twigs. Those are his arms. Oh, those are both the same piece. You get 2 different looks. This happened to be cut from the same piece. I thought I had both different, but that's okay. And then you get a nose. And what's nice about this die set is the fact that you do not have to glue all of these on
I
here.
love that how they did that.
And so I like the way they did that. So what we're going to do is I'm going to show you how I inked it. And I see I've got something on my mat here.
So Maggie's using, we should mention this mat, the glass media mat. It's back in stock here at Memory Bound, and it would be a great thing on your Christmas list. It's a work surface. And when Tim came out with this, I loved it because he said, I don't know if your desk is like mine, that normally you end up with no space to actually do your crafting. You know, for me, I have about this corner that I end up with, and sometimes I'm using my trimmer on my lap.
Yep, and sometimes I'm working on top of something else.
Yes, but with the glass media mat, the idea is that that is your work surface. So I've got that on my desk.
It defines it.
Yeah, that's a great way to put
Defines
it. I love
your
that.
work area. And you know, another thing too is it does have the rubber things on the bottom so it doesn't slide around, but it also raises it up a little bit. So there again, it defines your workspace.
I think that's a great explanation.
So I'm going to show you how I inked this snowman. My snow color of choice is weathered wood. It's the best color for snow. So if you like to do snow,
I love weathered wood, and you are using the regular distress rather than the oxide.
I am. Okay, so what I do is I just smush. We call this smushing. So if in my directions it says smush, that's what this means. That's what
it means.
There we go. So we're going to put a little bit of weathered wood down. And what we don't want to turn the snowman blue. We just want to give him some shadows and some dimension. So we're going to really dilute this. And that, again, when I'm giving directions, I never know how many mists to say. It just, you got to
You can
feel
always
for
add
it.
more color, but I want
Right.
to show them the snowman again, Maggie, because it's amazing that you're adding ink because you wouldn't even know it, but if you put just the plain white one up, you would be able to tell the difference.
So much more dimension and depth. So we've got our watered down weathered wood, and basically I kind of always work in, I don't put it smack in the middle, I just kind of go from the side. I don't know why, but you don't want to drag it. You just, I hope I'm doing the right side. Did I lay the right side down?
You'll have to tell me, I don't know.
I can't remember. Let's see.
He's not symmetrical, which makes him extra cute. He looks like he's bent at the waist.
Yeah, I think I might have done the wrong side.
You can just do the other side,
Oh
can't
no,
you?
I think it's right.
Did it
I
right?
think it's okay. Okay, so see how I didn't drag it through? It kind of pools, and you have some white showing. You have this pooling area here. You have some dots here. That's what you want. Very
it,
little
huh?
color, yes. So we're going to dry it, and again, don't dry on your mat because it does make it curl, as you can see right there.
While you're drying, I think maybe Dawn has an announcement. Maggie's doing drying here, so you can see what she's doing. Go ahead, Dawn.
Okay, these are the Doodlebug stockings that are coming. They were in the next shipment for Doodlebug. They are shipping Monday or Tuesday, and I would recommend pre-ordering them because Jackie, the quantity is very limited at Doodlebug. So if you want these, give us a call, send us an email, and let us know that you want your name on for one of these. Let me just get my notes here. They're $34.99. They include the stocking. It's a quilted stocking. She said it's big. She said they're absolutely adorable. And then 12 exclusive Doodle Pops that you can only get and will only be able to get in the stocking. So
Look at them, how cute they are.
they're very adorable. So if you are a Doodle Pop lover, a Doodlebug lover, you are going to want to get your name on the list for these, $34.99, and we will save one for you when they come in. We should have them by the end of next week. She thought they'd be shipping on Monday or Tuesday.
Thank you, Dawn.
Yes.
For finding out about
Yep.
that for us.
And then
Thank
also
you.
the Santas are under the Let It Snow Doodlebug tab now. So that's where they are, and those are so cute.
Well, some of them he's winking, and some of them his eyes are open, and they are really cute.
Very fun.
All right, super.
All right.
Okay,
So we all
so
dry, Maggie?
we are, and I just wanted to point out that when you are drying with your glass mat, you don't want to dry like this because it does heat up the glass. So just hold it with, actually tweezers would probably be your best bet. Just hold it in the air to dry. Okay, so
Dried
now
pretty
we
fast.
have him. Now we're going to do the top part. And we're going to kind of lay it in here like this. And again, it's better to be more diluted than less because you can always add more. And we're going to take him and dry him.
I would have never guessed that this is how you did it, Maggie.
Yeah, to me it's the easier way to get a very watered down look.
And you could probably do this with any snowman die.
And if you feel like you've got a little bit too much on, feel free to tap some of it off. But you don't want him entirely blue. But isn't that cool look?
So you want him a little blotchy?
Yeah, I call it variegated.
And she's working with Mr. Frost from Tim Holtz. It's a new release die for this Christmas.
Okay, so the next thing you're going to do is you're going to glue the white one with the holes. I have to have glasses
Maggie's
so I
putting on her
know where
glasses.
my glue is going to go. Okay.
Did you get a glue that was empty?
It's not empty. I think I left the lid off, and so it's clogged. We'll use this one. Any liquid glue will work, and
Do we need to have somebody bring us a glue?
That might not be a bad idea. Do I have a pick? I use my Tim Holtz pick a lot.
Maggie's got her basket of goodies.
Thought I had that pick.
I'm going to just reverse here, Maggie.
All
I'll
right.
be right back.
All
I'll
right.
be right back.
Yep, both of them are clogged.
Hey, Penny. Yes. Can you get us a liquid glue out of the drawer? Yep. Penny's coming to the rescue.
Yep, both of my glues are clogged. I think I got so busy I left the lid off.
Well, that happens. So she is going to, thank you, Penny. Thank you so much.
Thank
Maybe
you.
she got us two, so that
All
if
right. 50-50 chance of
we got
one
a
of
good
them.
chance. I'm guessing those are going to be fine.
Okay. All right, so we're going to put some glue. There we go. The glue is flowing.
The glue is going. Beth says she still has the same heat tool.
Oh, really?
That's the Ranger Classic.
Okay, and then we're going to, so you're going to glue this onto the black, and you can match it up perfectly so you don't see that black at all, except where you want to see it, which is the nose and the eyes.
I do think that was a smart design on Mr. Frost,
totally.
because I would not want to keep track of all those little pieces for sure.
Okay, so now we have the top and the bottom, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little, that's okay, thought I had another one of these blending tools. Okay.
You want me to get you
No,
one?
that's okay. This is what I usually do at home, is I just squish out the brown. Okay, so we're going to go with weathered
Maggie's
wood.
so good at going with the flow.
We're going to do a little weathered wood, and we're going to ink around the edges. And you know what? There's a little brown mixed in with it. That's okay, because we're going to add a little brown anyway.
So if you're home, you could change your blending pad and not have to do this.
But actually, I'm kind of liking this look.
But maybe you want to do it.
It's a perfect blend of weathered wood and
you could never
brown.
do it again the same way, probably. So
Okay.
she's adding the little edging.
So I go around with the weathered wood and a little brown, and then just kind of to add a little bit of roundness to it, I'll throw in just a little bit across the surface, and then we will go around and do a little weathered wood around the back piece.
While you're inking that, we have a huge announcement to make. I think all I need to do is show the picture, and everybody's going to get what the big announcement is. But Nuvo glue is back in stock, and yippee, Dawn ordered a lot. So if you're on the list, we'll give you a call. If you're not on the list, you can order it online. It's going to be posted and checked in here shortly.
Oh, here's my blue.
Speaking of liquid glue, Maggie.
I knew that I had a blue one and a brown one, but that's okay. It was the perfect blend. Now you're going to glue this piece.
By using the liquid glue, I like it because it gives you a little forgiveness when you're lining it up. You can kind of slide it a little bit, whereas a tape, not so much.
And then we're going to just glue him on there, and now you have your snowman. It does, I mean, to me, that blue just adds a lot of depth and a lot of realistic look to it. Sometimes it's a little more blue, sometimes it's a little more white. You never get the same snowman twice. Now it does come with a 2-part scarf.
I like that.
And
a 2-part scarf.
Yes, and I'm going to ink around the
So you're
scarf
inking with a brown.
with the brown. And I use gathered twigs, but if I have ground espresso sitting in front of me, I'll use that. Or sometimes if I want a lighter touch, I will use that pumice stone that we talked about the other day. But he does do this, and mainly that's to give it a little bit of depth. And while I'm doing that, I'm going to do his nose. And I like to cut his nose out of a textured orange rather than just straight up orange cardstock. So if you've got some a little patterned orange sitting around your house, you can use that. And you know what? The actual die cut, or the actual die, has an extra piece to give it a little bit more depth. I felt like with the kit, I didn't really need to do that, but you will have that in your die set. So all I do is glue this part. I don't.
So you don't glue the
glue
scarf,
this.
just the neck
But
part.
I just realized that if I remember right, on the kit I did this a little bit just to give it a little fringe.
See, Maggie, it's all those extra little things that you do that I think most of us go, wow, and like, yeah.
And then you just kind of crinkle it.
You wouldn't think about that if you hadn't shown it to us.
Yeah.
Karen has this question, a little squirrel moment, about the Blue Fern Christmas paper, and I'm really sorry, Karen, it is sold out. So we don't have any more of the Blue Fern. That was quite a popular one. And I think, Maggie, you had it at your last
Oh,
time
that's
you were
right.
here.
We
You showed
did.
that.
We showed the books, didn't we? Okay, and then this just goes on here like this, and it just adds just a little more depth to it rather than just a piece of paper, or one layer. So he's very good about making layers.
So there you can see the two pieces of the scarf. And Maggie, it looks like you sort of crinkled up the hanging down part
You know
of
what?
the
I
scarf.
think I
You
did. I think I just
You folded it a
crinkled
little
him
bit.
like that and just let it hang like that. So that whenever you're doing something like that, it gives it a little 3D and again a little depth. Now the little nose, all I do is put a little glue on the end that attaches to his face,
Oh, okay.
because then that way if you wanted to, you could bend up that nose just a little bit, and there again, if you wanted to, you could kind of crease it
Make it a little creasy.
so it doesn't lay flat.
Oh, I love that.
You never want
Maggie.
to
I love
glue
it.
everything really flat.
Yeah.
Did I put him in the right spot, or should
Yeah,
he be moved
no,
over?
I think he's good.
Okay, now in your kit also, and in the die, it does come with two arms. I thought I had two in this baggie, and they turned out to be the same one. But you get one curved one and one like that. So we're going to go with it. We're just going to use
You
two of
should,
the same.
because
so.
you could use both the same. You don't have to use two different.
No. So you can make him raising his arms up if you wanted to hold a banner, or if you wanted to put a little cardinal, you could put it straight out or you could put it down. Let's see, we're going to the same, you can just fix
You can
it.
make it work.
And then this one kind of goes under there, under his scarf. And so we could have this one coming like that, or if you wanted
Oh,
him
I
holding
like
a
that.
banner, you could have it going up. Let's put it up and see what happens.
Holding a
And-
banner would be cute, or maybe a little heart, or like you said, a little cardinal or a bird.
And I think I might have taken that one and put it underneath that layer. And you could certainly do that. This is kind of covered with the scarf. But see how his arms, so you can change this snowman's personality by just moving his arms.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how the snowman is made in that kit. So if you are an owner of that kit, that's how the snowman was made. And there are full directions on how to do that, but sometimes it's easier to see it done. With this, then, all I did was, in your kit, you get an extra tree, and I just fussy cut it. And all I did was take that tree. In fact, I saved the other one. And you don't have to worry about, this is very watercolory, so you don't have to worry about staying inside the lines. And I'm not going to do the whole thing, but you can just make your tree the shape you want.
So you just kind of cut.
I followed it a little bit, but I didn't worry about whether I was cutting it exactly. So it's not what I would say fussy cutting, because I'm not cutting those out perfectly, because when I left some of the white, or the blue and white, it looked like snow. so I just made a general idea of how I wanted
So
that
it's
tree.
an unfussy cut tree?
Yeah, so that's how I did that. So I just took, you will get one of these in your kit, and then I just kind of fancy cut it out. I didn't worry about having it perfect. And then all I did was, this is raised up with pop dots. And so in the background, I took a little fine point glue like this, and on that paper, I just went like this in the shape of like the branches, what they would be, with glue, and then sprinkled this glitter mix on it and let it dry. I didn't do anything other than that to the background trees. Then when I made the fussy cut one, I pop dotted it, and then instead of glue, I used a little texture paste. Not the crackle, but just a little.
Just regular texture
Yes.
paste?
Ooh, doesn't that look cool?
Oh,
Looks
that
like
does.
a Dairy Queen.
Oh my gosh, it is Dairy Queen.
You can always tell when it's brand new. Okay, so just take a little like this, and I just put it on the branches where I thought snow would gather. So I just kind of did that, and then I sprinkled, while it was still wet, you sprinkle your glitter on it. So you can put as much or as little of that on there. And so I just kind of laid it in there where I thought snow would
stay, would fall and stay on
Yeah.
the branches.
So basically, and then at the end I splattered it with white, and these are real Iowa pine cones.
And we have a question about those, and we do not sell the pine cones, but I'm sure you can find them. Well, depending on where you live,
Yes.
you might be able to find some. But we don't have the pine cones, but you could just do bells, or there's a lot of new Tim Holtz ideology.
There are
outs
pine
and
cones
charms.
in the kits.
Well, yeah, if you have a kit, then you've
Yes.
got pine cones.
But I apologize, we don't have any more kits available, but for those of you who bought it, and also I just wanted you to be able to see that if you purchase this die, you can do whatever you want to with it and put it in any kind of scene that you want.
Well, he'd be cute on a card front too.
Yeah,
Or a scrapbook
oh my
layout.
gosh,
Or
I have seen him being used on a lot. Ooh, he is really cute.
yeah, you did a good job on him.
Okay,
So that's Mr. Frost. and
Mary,
then-
I hope that helps you a little bit with your make, because she was a little concerned about.
Now we do have good news, because this paper is the 49 in Market Peace and Joy. Is it called Tree Line, Maggie? Do you remember?
Treetop or tree
Treetop.
line?
That paper is back in stock, and we do have that blue paper with the beautiful watercolor trees. And you're going to find that if you go online and go to collections or new, 49 in Market Peace and Joy. So you can get the paper, you can get Mr. Frost, and you can make some projects with it.
Okay, I'm going to tell you, remember how I said I had inked this before and then I painted it white and I thought that that would do it? This is starting to turn a little bit of a color, but so I would not recommend inking first and then trying to paint over it, but I just wanted to give you an idea. But can you see the cracks?
Yes, we can see the cracks really good.
Once it's really dry, and I would say it's probably not 100% done, but I wanted to show you what you can do then is, do not do this because you'll rub the cracks off. You're just going to press it, and that kind of goes down into those cracks and defines those cracks a little bit. And so you get a little bit of a, but don't do this because those cracks will fall off. But can you see it goes down into the cracks? So you can do that. But I just wanted to give you an idea of how I did that.
So that she's talking about this Let It Snow.
We're kind of jumping around here.
That's okay.
Stay with us,
We can
folks.
jump. We can jump. Everybody's sharp on this video. And this one, we do have kits left for this Let It Snow. So if you wanted to make this exact project, you could get a kit for it with directions and everything you needed, all the pieces, and you would just need some mixed media product that Maggie was already talking about.
That one uses this die also.
Oh yeah, is that festive?
And then the bear. He is
Festive words.
I love this bear. I have seen it used on Instagram so many different ways, and they've made him. Somebody cut it out of paper that looked almost fuzzy, and you can change the coffee cup. And just wanted to show you. See this little tiny look of brown? That actually is a piece. This mug is actually 2 pieces. One is shorter than the other, and then there's that little tiny piece of brown or black, whatever you want to put in there. I did put those together for you in the kit.
Oh my gosh.
Only because it was such a tiny piece and I was afraid you'd lose it. So
And you could probably live without it, but it does. It does
it
add
adds
it though.
that
There it is
detail.
on the
Yes.
real project. And she said earlier, if you missed it, if you get the project kit, she already put in the nose pieces and the eyes, so you wouldn't lose those tiny little pieces.
yes. So anyway, and then this bear, the eyes, you can change his personality. You can have him looking to the left or to the right or up. You can change his personality just by his eyeballs. But these 3 of all of Tim Holtz's new line, these are my 3 favorites. This one I
Now
tried to
let's see,
make.
the bear's called Cozy Winter, and it's $14.99. And then we have Mr. Frost, and then we have Festive Words.
And all 3 of these could be used all winter long.
Oh yeah,
They're
that's-
not totally
not
Christmas
just
at all.
Christmas.
Oh, and the snowflakes do come, and you will get that in your kit. Can
Oh,
you
yeah,
see the 3
Yep,
snowflakes?
she used them right there.
Those were inked with a little bit of weathered wood before we glued them down, and then I added a little bit of glitter
sparkle.
too. This one I tried to make very simple because, as you know, as it gets closer to Christmas, you need quick and easy. And so this is one of Tim Holtz's very old Biggs dies. I'm not even sure you can still get it, but that's okay because we cut
Because
them
we
for you.
have it.
Yes, we cut them for you. And this actually is the back of your background paper. So this is your paper that you put here, and then you get your bird cut out of this. But what I did then in the directions, you will ink that with fired brick, I believe. I don't know if I have fired brick here.
So Fired Brick Distress Ink.
Yes, fired brick distress ink, and then I went around it with black soot. And can you see this part and this part? This actually came from another die set, and it worked. It fit perfect. So I took these from a different die set, and so you will get all these pieces. But see how it went from this really light
Yeah.
to a dark red with the fired brick and the black soot. So what I'm going to show you on this one, and all I did was paint this white and add glitter. I didn't ink, I didn't sand, I didn't do anything.
So
But-
there is a question. Do you put glue on the bow to hold the diamond dust on? And you don't have diamond dust on your bow, do you?
To hold the diamond dust, this is actually white splattered paint. When I splattered it, I did it after I put the bow on. So that is
So
white
all of her
splattered.
bows she splattered. They don't have the glitter, the diamond dust on them. I suppose you could put some on them.
You probably could, and I would just use a little fine point glue. Let's do it. You could just put a little fine point glue onto there, and you wouldn't want to make a polka dot, so you'd smear it a little bit, and then add a little
Maggie,
bit.
way to go. Way to just try something that didn't even plan on.
Yeah, I think it might be kind of a pretty idea. Oh yeah, look at that. Oh my gosh, I like that. And then as that glue dries, you will not see the white. Ah, great idea.
There we go. We
Great
added even
idea.
something extra.
Okay, so what I wanted to show you here was, this is so hard to describe in writing, how to do one of these bows. So I'm glad I
It
get
is
a
hard.
chance.
So yeah, I'm glad you're going to show us that.
Okay, so what I did is I brought some ribbon that I had at home, and this is pink, but you would get blue. Actually, this is 2 shades of teal. I did 2 at a time, so you get your lighter and your darker. I thought that was
So she's showing us how to make what do we call these fluffy bows? Maybe
Yeah,
here's
fluffy
another one
bows.
with a little bit wider ribbon. So you can use different ribbons.
So you would take about 6 to 8 inch piece of ribbon, and I tied it around the hoop screw, and you just make a single knot like that. Now this was just a piece I had at home, so this is way more than you need. I think usually I put in like a 6 or 8 inch piece, And this was another piece I had at home, and I'm just going to measure this because you can do it with 2 or 3 feet. I wouldn't probably do it with more than 3
so
feet.
use 2 to 3 feet for this size of bow.
Okay, so when I did this one, I put the 2 ribbons together. I'm just going to do one.
Yeah, we need to start basic.
Okay, so you've got your smaller piece. You've got a single knot laying here. And, okay, we're going to have to turn. And what you do is you hold your 4 fingers and you make sure that the first piece is hanging down to cover all 4 of your fingers. Okay, and then you don't want to do this really tight because you're going to have to get these off. So you're going to be making some figure 8s. This is the bottom half, this is the top half. So you're going to come from behind, in, down, in, and you're just going to be making figure 8s between those 2 sets of fingers. Does everybody see how that works?
I think so. Figure 8s, everybody.
Figure 8s, and just kind of keep it loose.
Now, Maggie, so if you use less ribbon, is your bow just less
Not-
smaller, less fluffy?
Yeah, less fluffy. Because if you want your bow to be a little bigger, you can spread your fingers out a little bit more. But this is about, I usually use between 2 and 3 feet, okay? So see how we have that middle? I'm just going to squish it there. And there, this is why you want to keep it loose.
So you can get it back off.
So you can get it off. There we go. Okay, so now you have this. And you're going to lay it on there like that. And then you're going to finish tying your knot. And this time you will do a double knot. And this is called a fluffy bow. And then we're going to tie it again.
I think the figure 8 is the trick, because I've done it without doing the figure 8, but mine never turn out that nice.
And you can make yourself a little template with a piece of chipboard, and instead of using your fingers. But you know what? You never can find that, and you always have your fingers.
Well, and Elena suggested that you can do the same thing if you want tiny bows if you use a fork.
Yes, yeah. And so then you just trim these off at an angle. An angle always looks better than straight cut. And you know, sometimes when I see someone's make and they haven't angled their ribbons, I just want to...
You want to call them up?
I want to cut it for them, yes. Okay, so then all you do, and this ribbon is so soft that it lays nice. Different ribbons will lay differently, but you just spread them apart like this. And that's how you get your fluffy bow. And you can kind of twist it if you want it a little straighter. But that's how you make a little fluffy bow.
I'm so glad you showed that today, especially with the holidays.
Yeah, and you
coming
could do
on.
this on your gifts.
Or your tags, or
There.
lots of different...
So that was about, did I measure 3 feet, I believe? I
Yes,
think that
I
was
think you
3
did 3
feet.
feet.
Now, if you had a thicker and a little bit more substantial ribbon, it would be more foo-foo-y.
So like this one, is
Yes.
this one about 3 feet?
And so that's when, and because I used 2 pieces at a time, that's why this one's a little more foo-foo-y. And then I took a wire cutter and cut the hoop off of this charm. These are just charms. And then I just put a glob of glue and pressed it down in there.
Okay, that's very
All
nice.
right, so that was a little bit about...
So that's our hoop
Yes,
information for
I
today.
hope that helps
And
you.
you can, if you want to make the one with the cardinal or the bear, we do have those in kits, and you can purchase those, of course. And we do not have any more of the snowman kits. Well, we kind of ran out of the product, but now we do have the blue paper back in. So if you want the paper and kind of do your own thing, or if you were just loving that paper, because it's maybe one of our best-selling papers this season. It's kind of the Diane's red paper from last year, isn't it, Maggie?
It's just the most beautiful. Every time we got this clear back in about, I would say, September, October.
Yeah, we did have it pretty early.
Every time I walked by it in the store, it just kind of called my name.
Called her name.
It
I
did.
love it.
It just kept saying, "You've got to do something with this." Okay, so we're going to move on to the cabins. And the Tim Holtz die, last year he came out with, is it called Paper Village Paper Village 1 and Paper Village 2. I think this is the one I had, and I used it to build the birdhouse. And this is just one of Doug's wood slices, and we do have those.
The wood slices are back in stock. They're $1, and we have larger ones also for $2.49 if you wanted to maybe do more of a scenery. But we do have the little ones, and they're back in stock.
And this is a Duratio stick.
Yeah, you can find a stick.
You can use glue gun to glue that to your log slice. And then I happen to have this left over from another project that I didn't use it for some reason. But this is actually a set called, I'm not sure there's a name here. It's called, letterpress. And I think one time we went through here and we figured out that you could make about 3 or 4 different winter words. And I think season was one, joy, and I can't remember what the other one was. And so on that, I just took my finger and put gold paint on that. And go ahead.
No, that's great. So we have 3 of these letter presses. I think they might even be discontinued now. And if you're interested, you could go to the online and go to embellishments in Tim Holtz Ideology.
But we did find these. These are his, they're called Typography Christmas. And they're actually words. You can make season, merry, and bright, 25.
So you could easily do that on here, couldn't you, Maggie?
Yeah. Does that mean you can make all of those with these? Wow. And so you could paint these if you wanted to. Mm-hmm. You could, I don't think you would want to use ink, but you could paint them, or you could use alcohol inks because they're non-porous. And, but you could just take acrylic paint and paint the fronts of them. That would be very easy. But those would work really well, and those would give you a lot more Christmas words, too, if you wanted Christmas words. But these are just samples of some from last year's Paper Village. So this was the inside of one of his vignette trays, and I actually did make a hole so that I could string lights in if I wanted to. And this is another vignette. I just turned it upside down and used the top of it.
I thought that was really clever.
And Maggie. I believe, Kelly, don't you get like a set of 3 in here? I didn't bring those over. Yes. So this year I wanted to experiment with his new set, which is the ones we have on sale. What a great deal. If people on Facebook knew about your sale, I think, because they've been looking for these. Yeah. They're hard to find. This one is called
it's the Village Collection.
Village Collection. It has like 87 pieces. So any window, the doors, entryways are different. The roof lines are different. This is a shingle set that you actually shingled the top. He's got a few different chimneys. I love his chimneys this year because he put the little thing around the edge, and they actually are cut so that they fit right on that tree line, or the roof line. I'm sorry. And so there's different openings, but this was made. You actually make the house. You actually make it out of this Distress Craft Heavy Stock, and he's got it in the craft, and I think he might have it in white also. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So depending on what siding you want to put on it, I would probably make all of my makes with this. I like the craft, but it's a little heavier, and so you actually make your house out of this, but then you add your siding, and the siding that we used was, I laid it here. Oh, here it is.
Oh, you found it. Oh, you used some corrugated.
We just used corrugated cardboard piece, and if you didn't have this, Alice, one of our customers, supplies me with this. But if you didn't have this, all you do is take a cardboard box and peel off one side.
Oh, and then you'd have the, yeah.
And when you put that through your die cut machine, it does flatten it, But that's okay because it makes the perfect
See if I
look.
can get up close. I know Maggie's got her lights on it.
Yeah.
It's like somebody's home. There's lights on.
So it looks like log cabins, and then after it gets flattened out, you ink it. And I used like a dark brown and a black soot to ink those.
And Maggie, I wanted to mention that this die set, it has 87 pieces. It's normally $84.99, but with our Thanksgiving week sale, it's $59.99. So if you were thinking about, you know, maybe getting a village or doing some experimenting, it would be a great time.
And Tim Holtz, one of his makers, and his she does the admin for his website and stuff. She has an unbelievable storage idea for this, using magnet sheets and the envelopes. And I truly believe that that would be the way to go, because being my first time, we just dumped it all out on the table.
My gosh.
And we go, okay, we need this, we need this. But if you used her, and you can look her up, her name is Zoe Hillman.
And there are pictures. You can print off printouts that tells you everything you get and how to sort them.
Yes.
Some of the things you get more than one die.
Yes, and he did talk about that, about how it just happened to fit on the template of the actual die, so he would throw in an extra roof line or an extra chimney. But as you can see all the different roof.
Kind of glaring. I don't know if
Oh,
you can hold it
yeah,
up.
hold it.
There we go.
See the different shingle types that he has? And so when we actually felt like construction people, because
Engineers,
we actually
architects.
had to shingle them from the bottom of the roof up.
Oh my gosh.
And then we took scissors and you actually lift up the ends, kind of like a shaker roof. So we did that to give it a little more dimension. So every layer is, you can do that. So we did that a lot. And what I used was Tim Holtz black craft core. And so we sanded it a little bit.
Oh, nice.
So that gave it a little bit of dimension too. What I wanted to show you though, very quick, remember I said this was going to be a little bit about a lot of things? Mm-hmm. I wanted to share with you, Tim Holtz came out with these 3D embossing folders. Well, in his wisdom, when he put this set out, he decided he needed to have them on scale for these houses. So of course I had the big one, so I had to buy all three of these.
Small ones. Well, you're making a lot of houses,
Oh my
Maggie.
gosh, so you can make a brick house, a wood house, or a cobblestone house. But I wanted to share with you, I have all three of them. Proof, I do have them. So I wanted to share with you what you can do with these. Tim Holtz, if there was nothing else from watching his 2.5-hour video that I came away with going, aha, was how he made his siding. So when you build this house, you build it out of the craft heavy stock.
Okay.
Then you die cut again your major
You build
structure.
Like a base, and then you
Yeah.
you die cut the same thing twice?
You cut the same thing twice. You
Okay.
cut it from the craft cardstock, and then you cut your siding. And when you cut your siding, you cut off all the tabs, and you cut off all the you cut the pieces apart, so they're going to fit over all four sides. And I'll show you how I did that. So what I did is I took some heavy stock cardstock, and I'm going to show you some things that I did, and I learned this from his video. So what you do is you make background pieces of paper using inks, and he used sprays and stuff. I didn't have any sprays, so I'll show you how I did my backgrounds. But look at this. This is the small brick. And look at that one. And you could even go over and ink this so it wasn't quite so orange, but that's crackling campfire. That is a beautiful color. And there's another one. So these are all three brick. And then this one is the cobblestone. Look at that.
Yeah, that's neat.
I want to make an English Tudor house
yeah.
out of that. But I'm going to show you how I did that. But I wanted to share with you, I did write down what colors I used. But you could spend an afternoon just making backgrounds, and then when you wanted to build your house,
Then you'd be all set.
you'd be all set. So what I figured out was this is that heavy stock. I wasn't as happy about how my ink soaked into it. It worked, but I wanted to experiment with a piece of watercolor paper because you know that's my favorite. So I'm going to show you how I did this cobblestone. And again, I stole it directly from
Well, and
Tim.
what Maggie's referring to is last Saturday, and you can go to YouTube and search on Tim Holtz or go to timholtz.com, but last Saturday his whole demo was on the village
Yes.
and making houses, and he had all kinds of really neat samples, and there were even some that were like pastels, like, you know, kind of reminds you of Candy Cane Lane or something
And
like
Christmas papers. He used Christmas papers.
that. So if you want to take a look at that, go to timholtz.com, and you can go to his video last Saturday. And this Saturday, Maggie, he's using all of the ideology, the Christmas ideology, and
my
we've been
favorite.
demoing that. So we're excited for that too.
Well, I'm going to show you just a small condensed version, which to me was my favorite part of his show. Was I just thought, oh my gosh. So I'm going to cut this down. I realized that when I was cutting this piece, I cut it a little
While
big.
you cut that down, Maggie, we have a question about this paper, and it is $49 in market. It's in the Peace and Joy collection. So if you go online and you go to $49 in market, Peace and Joy under new or collections, and you'll find it in there. We think it's Tree Line or Treetops is one of the possibly the name.
The one thing too that I learned from watching Tim's video is the fact that if you compartmentalize this, if you just one evening do nothing but make backgrounds, one evening do nothing but just cut the structures, and then you have all that and you can say, oh, I'm going to build a house, and you have it all ready to pull. You don't have to start it from scratch. So I'm going to use a piece of watercolor paper this time, and I'm going to try this. Let's do some pumice stone.
So you got gathered twigs and pumice
And
stone.
let's do a little, I like that peeled paint in there, so let's add a little peeled paint. Let's make it somewhat like this, but maybe with a little
A
darker.
little different.
Yeah. You're never going to get any two alike anyway. So we're going to start out, I'm going to start out with my lightest one.
All right, Mary, I see that you say the paper shows out of stock. I'm going to have to ask Diane here about it. She's on the phone, and find out why it's out of stock, because I don't think it is.
Okay, so
Sorry, Maggie.
No,
One more
that's okay.
interruption.
Mhm.
The paper that she used for the snowman was weathered wood.
or the ink,
The ink, yeah. I'm sorry. The ink for the snowman is weathered wood.
and a little bit brown.
And a little bit of brown on the edge. I love weathered wood.
I do too. It's my snow. Okay, so I put some pumice stone. I like to start out with the lighter one. So we're going to just, again, don't drag. And we're going to want not really white showing, so we're going to...
And Lisa, thanks for letting me know my mic isn't on. So if you missed it, we don't know why the paper's showing out of stock. I'll have to have Diane check it when we get off the video. All right, so Maggie smushed it.
We
Smooshed it.
smooshed some pumice stone. That was my lightest color. And we're going to dry that. And you definitely want to dry it between colors.
When you're done, let me know.
And pumice stone is just a really nice brown.
It's kind of not brown, not gray, or
Yes, I would
don't
call
know
it
what you
taupe.
call it. Taupey.
Just a taupe. If you don't want that really dark brown, that's a really pretty color.
So you used weathered wood and gathered twigs on the snowman.
Yes.
So
yes.
you could use any of your browns. It's just for the edge.
if
But
you
weathered
have,
wood was the blue that she used, or kind of grayish blue.
yes,
actually.
it's just a snow. I've yet to find anything else that works better for snow. Okay, so there is our gray. So you could just make backgrounds and just take a bunch of paper
That'd be
and
fun.
make your background. So let's do a little bit of gathered twigs. And as I
I thought you would
Less.
say more.
so then you're going to get some of that look. And if you think that's a little too strong, I like it. I'm not going to do anything
Go
to
for
it.
it.
So,
So
we're going to.
So Maggie's drying again, and while she dries, Dawn brought these over just to let you know, because this is kind of big. We got an order direct from Tonic that the mini snips are in, and this is a great little scissor, very sharp. And Tim Holtz, of course.
Just like mine, except mine are
it's
red.
It's what Maggie's been using today, in fact. And sorry, I don't know how much they are, but they're a nice little stocking stuffer or a little gift. It's got Tim Holtz's autograph on them.
If you like to fussy cut, it's definitely good scissors
And then
for
we
that.
got in some Nouveau drops are restocked. It looks like the ebony is back in stock, and that looks like the clear, which is morning dew, and we got a copper color, and this looks like maybe red berry and a gold. So those are all back in stock.
So
And
let's.
of course, oh, Maggie, that looks neat. I love
Yeah,
it.
I kind of almost am like that. Let's try not using green, and let's try a little bit of vintage photo.
She's
Plot change.
vintage photo, yeah, okay. And
Plot
she's
twist.
using Distress ink, but I think you could use the oxides if you wanted to.
You would get a different look, and you have to remember that if you're adding water to an oxide, it will start oxidizing. So it'll just have a different look. Ooh, I like that.
All right, so we got rid of peeled paint, but we added in vintage photo. That's the brown I use a lot. So we got pumice stone, gathered twigs, and vintage photo, 3 kind of browns. So
And
Maggie, that is really
Probably
neat.
the reason I went with vintage photo is it has a little bit of red to it.
Mm-hmm.
And
Kind of got a little
so-
orangey,
yeah.
reddish.
All right, so, oh my gosh. See, so you could just do nothing but make your backgrounds, and then you would have them all to choose from when you're ready to do your make. Now, this has a little more white on it. It looks white, but it actually probably is pumice stone. As you can see, I need tweezers because sometimes it does get a little hot. Okay, so what I'm thinking, okay, just for the fun of it, I'm going to take a little pumice stone, and I'm just going to fill in those areas that maybe are a little too white for me without smushing anymore.
And while you're filling in, we had a question from Lisa about the scissors, and I probably can't get them in focus. They do have a serrated edge, a very small serrated edge.
Okay, so see how by filling in a little bit, it doesn't look so white. All right, so if you had a bunch of these sitting around, then you want to build a house, and you've got your structure made with the heavy stock. Now you're going to add the siding. So this is a Tim trick. I just thought it was
I
amazing.
can't wait because I know you were pretty excited about
Yes.
it. So Maggie's using, are you doing cobblestone?
I'm doing cobblestone.
So these are $10.99, and these are the 3D texture fades, and they're the mini ones. They're so cute. He scaled down the patterns, makes them perfect for the houses. And then we have the wood grain, and then there's the brick.
I always wanted to do a brick, but the brick always seems so big, so when you had this little house,
you'd see just some squares.
you had one brick.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're going to take this is an old one, but it's archival ink jet black. And
Oh,
you're
this
just
is what
going
you're
to,
doing?
yes, and it has to be archival. It cannot be distress ink. You want
Okay.
it to be archival, okay? So there is a smoother side and a little more rough side here. So we're going to take the rough side, which I would call the front because it has
It's the dark where it's
Sizzix,
got
yes.
the pattern, and it says Sizzix. So behind the
And-
Sizzix word,
You're going to just pounce on it. You're not going to go back and forth like that. You're going to just pounce to get all those top things. And now, if you are really anal about all your stuff, you're going to be going, oh my gosh, how do I get that off? How do I get that off? Once it dries, it's okay. But Tim did show how to use a stamp cleaner.
we have a stamp cleaner
Yeah.
for archival
if that
inks.
bothers you. Okay, so you got to see this. This was just amazing to me.
So you're putting it in with facing up to
Yes.
the Sizzix.
And I just realized that we have to get
You need a machine.
I brought my fold away.
Okay.
And here's another thing about foldaways. I don't think we have any in stock today, but a foldaway has a lot more pressure.
Yes, it does. I have a fold-away at home, too.
So he always says 3D needs 3 passes.
Right.
Well, with a foldaway, he says you don't have to. He says if you did 3 passes, you would be cutting.
Cutting through it?
Yes.
So is it 1 pass or how many
one
passes?
pass.
Okay.
Yep. So you
Well,
just.
I'm glad to know that, Maggie, because I have a
Yes.
fold-away and I wouldn't have known that.
And then just lay this in here at an angle, because if you lay it this way, it's going to crack a lot louder, and you're going to get much better pressure if you put it at an angle.
So you don't have to mist that with water?
Yes, you would, except mine's probably still a little wet because I just made it, so I didn't.
Oh, okay.
But
all right,
if you
gotcha.
had dried ones like these, yes, you would
then
just
you
mist.
would mist your paper.
Sorry, I forgot that
That's
part.
okay.
But since I just made it, it's slightly
Paper
damp.
fibers are probably a little wet.
So 1 pass.
And I see you're using the iCrafter.
I am. Those are on
cutting-
sale too.
They're on sale. I think we have 2 left.
That's why I have it. Look at this.
Oh my gosh.
Isn't that cool?
That is really neat.
And
oh my
then-
gosh, Maggie, that's amazing.
So I wanted to show you. I'll just show you one piece of. Again, don't judge my organization here. Let's see.
Wendy said she just woke up. So
Oh, funny. Okay,
we've
so
got
let's
kind of a
say.
long video going today.
Yeah, I'm almost done.
It's okay.
Okay, so let's say that you did. This is house number 1, and that's
so they're
what
marked.
this is.
So I think that's something we need to show people.
Yes.
If I can get a hold of it.
So when-
they are etched with the name of the house, like house number 1, and it also has your die number. So if you, whoops, it's there. There it is. So if you maybe spilled your dies all over the floor or something, you could organize them.
And
I
that
suppose.
does help when you are trying to put your house together. This is house 1.
So that's the one you made up here.
Mm-hmm. So what you would do then is you would cut. This was one of the house pieces. You would actually cut that in your die cut machine, but instead of leaving it all together, you don't want to have to wrap it around the corners of your house. What you want to do is you want to actually slide those siding pieces into place. So this house had 4 pieces because you cut them apart.
Oh, so it's the same, what you're saying, it's the same die as the base.
Yes.
The base you would fold at the different corners of the house, but with the siding, you're
cut-
going to cut it and just glue it on top
Cut
of
it
your
here,
base.
cut the tabs off, and then glue it right onto your base. But look at that.
Yeah, that's neat.
I would want to go into this house. I just think that is so amazing. So
Well-
that, again, I'm not worried about cleaning this because it's archival. But he showed where he put, and I don't think Tim would, but I think he was doing it for people's sake that would get worried about it. He just put a stamp cleaner, and then he put a paper towel in between
Closed it.
and ran it through.
Oh, and ran it through. Oh
Mhm,
my
and
gosh.
it cleaned it out.
Okay.
Yeah. And so does everybody understand how you basically
I think so.
build
yeah,
the
I think
house and then you
explained it.
build the siding? And so you would cut this piece, cut the tabs off, cut it right here, and then you'd have this piece and this piece, and then you add that to your siding. Now that I think was just the original. There's no siding on that.
Okay, that's what I was
I
looking
just cut
for.
it from construction paper. But
Or card
okay,
stock.
I am excited. I am going to go home and build a
A
cobblestone
French
house.
cobblestone manor.
Love
or
it.
Cottage, a little
Well,
cottage.
Penny thought this would be good for an Ireland scene.
Oh, yeah.
And what Tim Holtz does is he takes this one and this one and he puts them in the same package together.
Oh, that's a great idea.
Yeah, and he showed how he did
Because
that.
they're both cobblestone, what Maggie's showing
Yes.
us, but one is just a smaller, it's the mini, and the pattern is smaller.
Same exact embossing folder, but just cut to scaled down so that you
Okay, and
can
there,
build.
we got a question about this. So
Yes.
on her birdhouse, these letters are actually part of an embellishment called the letterpress. So they're like on a wood block. And here is the letterpress. And we have 3 of these left if you wanted to purchase these. They are $19.99. I remember Tim talking about these and how expensive they are to make because they are wood and carved out. Maggie had grabbed some of the typography because we thought that would be really cute going around the sides. And this is the one for Christmas. And it's got lots of different, whoops, sorry, I'm dropping it. It has lots of Christmas words that you could use. This is a question, Maggie. I have no idea what this is, or what the answer is. How many houses does one set of dies make? I mean, is it
a different
infinite
houses?
because you could
infinite because you can change. This entryway right here. What I did is there's 2 different kinds. He's got this one, and then he's got the one that has these sides. And when we first started making them, we thought, well, what are these? And we were going to
figured it out?
Well, that's what we did with it. I don't know for sure if that was right. I think what you could do is fold it up into itself, and then you could just have an entryway like this. But with 87 dies,
Here's some samples here.
oh my
that they've
gosh,
shown.
yeah, and in fact,
I'm not sure what the real answer would be.
I don't know if you could come up with
You
an
could
answer.
maybe go to Tim Holtz Attics on Facebook and ask.
But look at this. You can build churches. There's steeples. There's one called the mansion where you could keep adding to it to make it bigger. You can just keep adding. Totally infinite ideas because Penny and I sat together and made the log cabin together. Well, now we have a plan. We're going to get together to make the cobblestone.
Oh, cool. So here's what Maggie brought in today that she's showing, and she even has the little lights on in the house. So somebody is home there, you can see. And then she brought in the birdhouse, which is from a previous collection of villages, probably this one.
It is.
Which is Paper Village number 2, and that's $19.99. And but you could use the new villages for that too. I think it would just be bigger.
Totally. Yeah, they're a little bigger scale, which I liked.
And she brought in a couple other projects to show us. So if you want to make some houses, I think you certainly could have a lot of fun with that and creativity. And Amy has a question. What product is on the rooftop for your snow, Maggie?
Again, texture paste. Just your regular texture paste. This right here.
The texture paste, and then you added some glitter to the
Then
top.
as soon as I put the texture paste on, I sprinkled the glitter because the texture paste was still wet. And I put that on with a palette knife.
And it's on these trees over here. It's on the bottom. You got a little on your deer, or maybe that's
from
paint.
splattering.
Splattering. Oh, then she splattered it.
And the deer, where are those deer? No deer were dismembered in this process.
We'd like Katie and Dawn to know that the deer were no deer were dismembered. I love that.
There's lots of different sizes, so what you can do is just put it in a baggie and drop mushroom ink into it, or caramel.
Oh, yeah.
Or there's
color it
lots
a
of
little
different
bit.
versions. And sometimes I did one color, and then after it dried, I'd put it back in the bag and added a little bit more.
So let me get a close-up of the deer so they can see how you colored it with alcohol ink.
So I just throw him in a baggie and put some drops of alcohol ink. I would start out with either mushroom or caramel. There's a ginger maybe. Lots of different.
Yeah, there's lots of
But
colors
he
you
just
could
got
use.
splattered. Once he was put in there, then I splattered the whole thing.
Maggie is a big splatterer, and I'm just learning how to splatter because I splattered my entire keyboard and computer screen one time, even though I had paper up. So I'm learning
Well, I
how
got
to
it
do
on
that.
Penny's coat the other day. We had to do some
Oh, you
quick.
did?
Can you
Uh-oh.
see these? He has the newer versions out. I don't know whether we have the old version, but the new version is they're really cool.
It's a really neat font. The bands, word
And what you
bands.
can do is you can bend those. Just with your hands, you bend them so that they fit around your log.
Nice.
Yeah,
Very nice.
so that works out well. Well, I know this is long. Sorry, but
And you could use Copic markers on the deer. I think
Yes.
you definitely could.
yes.
All right. Well, Maggie, are you wore out?
I am. I think I covered everything.
I think you covered a lot. I think we all learned a lot today. And okay, one more question. What are the trees by the log cabin?
Oh,
Is that just some greenery?
sometimes things are happy accidents. Somebody gave me a little bag in my mailbox the other day with pine cones, and it just said pine cones. And when I emptied it out, there were about 4 of these laying in there. And so when Penny and I were working on this, we thought it needed some pine trees. And I said, oh, and I reached down and that's what we used.
That's what you used.
And then I put texture paste on it. We stuck it in the snow.
Now, if you're meaning the trees here, those are some trees from Sullivan's, which is a really nice giftware company, and we do have those for sale if you want. The big trees, we do have those.
And I would never do this, but if you've got greenery from Christmases past that you're not using and you're going to throw away or you don't want, look at this. You could cut these individually and stick them in and make a little forest.
That would be great.
So look through your old Christmas stash. I bet you could find some greenery that you could use.
Awesome. And if you guys really love Maggie's makes, which we do, on December 1st, is that Wednesday? Wednesday, December 1st?
Thursday, I thought. Maybe. I don't know.
On Wednesday, we're going to have our sample sale here at Memory Bound, and it's going to be here on our video, but at 9 o'clock instead of 9:30 Central Time. And we have boxes of store samples and projects, and we're going to be selling them.
It is Wednesday,
So it is
December
Wednesday.
1st, yes.
Okay. And we're going to be selling those. And what's really cool is all the proceeds are going to go to a charity. So if you want to join us next Wednesday, you'll see, Maggie, we have quite a few projects, store samples that you made. And I know everybody's a big fan. So we'll have more information about that. Maggie, thank you a ton for today. This was like 3 days worth of demos all wrapped into one. A potpourri for sure. And we loved it. And I just want to let everyone know that we're closed tomorrow. We wish you all a very happy Thanksgiving, and we'll be back open on Friday morning. And on Friday morning, I've got some projects that I'd like to show you made with this Oh Holy Night faith bundle that comes with the paper pack Oh Holy Night, and then it also has a stamp set and a die. So that's what we're going to show on Friday, and our sale continues through Sunday. So I hope you can stop in and have a wonderful Thanksgiving day tomorrow.
It's the last one.
Whatever you're doing
You're
tomorrow,
welcome.
have a great day.